Hey, second graders! Welcome back to another great day of reading. You guys have just finished up the section of this book in Off to Class. You just finished the section of the book that talks about the rainforest school. That section was called Protecting the Amazon. Today, we're going to move on to a new section of this book. We're going to learn about another incredible and unusual school around the world. The first learning target I want to point out today says, I can answer questions using key details about the problem in Out of the Rubble. So, what do you notice? What are the important words in that learning target? We've seen those before. We're going to be answering questions. We're going to be using key details, those details that are in the story that are really important. And then we're going to be figuring out the problem that the people in this story are having. Okay, so we're going to move straight into our next section of text. We're going to take a little time and read the text, and then we'll come back to this slide to look at the second learning target. All right. Okay, so this text, there's also a copy of it on Epic for you. You just have to find pages 18 and 19 of the book. I think Epic has the pages numbered a little differently, maybe 17 and 18, but it's right around in there. And the title of this article is called Out of the Rubble. Now, I want you to think about a couple of things today as we're looking and reading this article. I want you to think, why is it hard for children in this particular place to go to school? So I want you to think about that question as we're reading today. And then also, I want you to think, how is this problem solved? Because that's going to be in here too. Okay, Out of the Rubble. There's a map over here in the left-hand corner, and it is pointing to the place we're reading about today. I like how it gets that black arrow up there. That little red dot. So that is a place called Port-au-Prince. That's the city, and it's in a country called Haiti. Okay, so if you look on the map, you'll see that Haiti is right here, and then we've got North America and we've got South America. Okay. This school that we're going to read about is what we're going to call a tent school, and you're going to find out why when we start reading today. The last school, we're going to call that one the rainforest school because it was a school that was built in the middle of a rainforest. So I bet you can figure out why we're going to call this one the tent school. All right. So I'm going to start reading right here. What if you woke up one morning and found that the world around you was completely different? That your house, your neighborhood, your family, and your friends were all gone. That's what thousands of kids in Haiti faced on January 12th, 2010, when a powerful earthquake took their world and turned it upside down. The severe earthquake collapsed buildings as if they were made of cards. Streets disappeared under rubble. By the end of the day, more than 200,000 people had died. Life on the island slammed to a halt. What was that part of the article mostly about? Yeah, it talked about that there was a big earthquake that destroyed a lot of things. What is rubble? What is rubble? Rubble's another word for ruins or broken pieces that are left when something is destroyed. Why do you think this text is called Out of the Rubble? Yeah, because this community is going to rise up out of the rubble. All that destruction. If you look at the bottom of the page here, look at all that rubble. And they're going to rise up out of it. So this is going to have a really good ending here. Okay. Some sense of normal. About half of the schools in and around the capital city, Port-au-Prince, were damaged or destroyed in the earthquake. Going to school, seeing friends, and having a routine is really important for kids after a disaster. It makes life feel closer to normal for a few hours a day. But how do you get kids back to school when the world around them is in chaos? When you can't even think about rebuilding until tons of debris have been cleared? You set up a temporary school, and you do that as fast as possible. Okay, what happened to the buildings here because of the earthquakes? Yeah, they were knocked down. So what happened to the schools in Haiti? Same thing, they were knocked down too, right? So we've got these two big words here that are describing the buildings, damaged and destroyed. So if the schools were damaged or destroyed, that would make it be really hard for students to go to school, right? So it says it's really important to get kids back to their routine. So it says it's really important for kids after a disaster to having a routine. That's it. Your routine is something you do very often, like brushing your teeth or getting dressed. And according to the text, what does the routine of going to school do for students after a disaster? It says right here in the text, it makes life feel closer to normal for a few hours a day. And so that's why getting into a routine is going to help these kids. It's really important after an earthquake to get back to normal. They can go to school and have school and see their friends. Okay, I want to flip back over to the learning targets again. All right. So we were asking and answering questions using key details about the problem in Out of the Rubble. And now what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to write about the problem using details from the text. So, what was the problem in this article? Right. It was hard for them to go to school. It was hard for the children in Port-au-Prince, Haiti to go to school. So what you're going to do today, let me show you the questions you're going to be answering. And you're going to do these. You do not have to print these pages. You're going to do them in your red reading notebook, or you can print the pages if you have a printer. But you're going to be filling in a note catcher first. And so all you really need to do in your notebook is to draw these boxes. So the first box says school. And in that box right here, you're going to put down tent school. And I know we haven't really read about the tent schools yet, but we heard about the problems they're having, and you saw a picture of what the tents are going to look like. So we're going to say tent school right here. And the location is Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Now, I would type that in on my screen, but unfortunately my PDF won't let me do that. But you know how you can figure out how to spell those things? You can go back to my video and you can pause it when I'm on the pages, and that'll help you spell those things to fill them in. Or alternatively, you can go on Epic and you can pull up this article yourself and you can zoom it in real close and you'll be able to pull up the name of the school. Well, tent school, I'm sure you can spell, but Port-au-Prince, Haiti will be your location. All right, so the next thing we need to do then is to fill in this box with, what is the problem? What is the problem? Well, the problem was it was really hard for kids to go to school because an earthquake damaged and destroyed their school. So that's what we're going to fill in right here on this problem box. We need to put something about the problem is that there was an earthquake that has knocked down their schools. So we only need to fill in the problem box right now. Now, the solution box we're going to fill in later. So you don't need to fill that in yet because we haven't finished reading the article. And we were not going to fill in the why is school important to the community yet. because we haven't finished reading the article. So all you really need to fill in today is the school, the location, and a little statement about the problem, like some notes. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to write about it. Okay, so we're going to write a focus statement and information about the problem. Now, I don't want you to read the words in these boxes yet. Those are your examples to help you with your work today. You're just going to need to have a box that says focus statement and a box that says information about the problem. So really 3 boxes if you include where you wrote the notes about the problem. Okay, so we're going to be drafting an informative paragraph using the information from the reading that we just did. Your focus statement in an informative paragraph is the first sentence and it introduces the reader to the topic. So that's the job of that focus statement. You want to tell your reader what you're talking about. So what I have for you is an example of what a focus statement looks like for the rainforest school. Let's look at this one. In a rainforest in Brazil, okay, so we got to tell them the place. It was hard for students to go to school. Hey, that's also true here in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And their community solved this problem. Now, we might today, since we know the problem is going to get solved, but we don't know it yet, our focus statement might be in a city, or no. How about in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, comma, it was hard for students to go to school because of an earthquake that destroyed the schools, period. Oh, that would be a good focus statement, but there's lots of ways. In Port-au-Prince, Haiti, it was challenging or it was difficult for students to go to school because their buildings were damaged by an earthquake, period. There's another good one. See, there's so many. So you need to write a focus statement today that says, in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, you need to tell the place, and you need to tell your reader that it was hard or difficult or challenging or one of those kinds of words for the students to go to school because, and you need to tell them what the problem was, what caused the problem, what made it difficult to go to school. So that's your focus statement. So you're going to do this in your red reading notebook. And then the next thing you need to do is you need to give them a little more information about the problem. Now, this could be, we've already said there was an earthquake. So this could be where you add like the pieces that you didn't say, okay? So if you didn't say because of an earthquake, you could put that here. You could say there was an earthquake. This is where you're going to add some additional details, okay? You're going to explain the problem a little bit better. So let's think of what else we could put for additional details. I'm going to, instead of flipping back over to the screen with my book, I'm just going to flip back into my actual copy of the book. And let's see about some other details that we didn't include. Well, one of the details was the date that the earthquake happened. You could say a powerful earthquake happened there on January 12th, 2010, period. That could be information about the problem. It says some other information was that a lot of people lost their lives. You could put that in there. This says half the schools were damaged or destroyed. So you could change your sentence to say, because you don't want to say that all of them were, but many of them were. You could add that. And then you could talk about debris. You could say there was debris from, or rubble. That's one of your new words. There was rubble all in the roads where the buildings crumbled. And you could even say something about that it's important for kids to get back to their routine. So all of those things can be part of the problem. Kids didn't have a routine. So really, all I want today, I want you to have maybe a couple of details here. I want you to have your topic sentence here, your focus statement. And then I want you to, this is where we first wrote the problem and the school and the place. So it's 5 things, okay? So get that in your notebook. And when we come back, we're going to read the rest of the article and we're going to talk about information about the solution in this article about 10th school. All right? Okay, have a great time today.